Hello everyone. So when I've shown the final video of the Toyota Corona, at a certain moment I have shown this part where I am sanding the tires for to make them more realistic. They are connected to the rotary tool, as can be seen. I have received a question by someone to ask how exactly I attached the tire to the rotary tool, what exactly I did. So I decided to make this tutorial so that I can show everyone how easy it is to make your own tool so that you will attach the tire to the rotary tool. Let's see what exactly is needed regarding materials and tools. First of all, obviously, the rotary tool, I am using a cordless one. You can use whatever you have available for you. And then we also need the bolt, a screw, whatever you find in your hardware store that can help you. And what is important when choosing the right size of bolt is that it is the same diameter as the adapter of your rotary tool. For example, this is the biggest adapter I have for my rotary tool, so I chose a bolt that goes directly into it without much loose, and also it isn't too tight to go inside. So it's important to choose a diameter of bolt that is the right size for your own adapter. Also, what else we need? I like to use two different nuts so that the first one will close with the tire and then the second one will tighten with the other nut, so that I will be sure that once I am sanding, the first nut doesn't become to unlock itself thanks to the second one. And also you will need two washers, one for each side of the tire, and these washers need to be exactly the same diameter in the middle as the bolt, so that you will not have a lot of free movement. As you can see, mine are the same size as the bolt. And why is that important? It's important because these will hold the other washers, which I will show very soon. And if the center hole is a little bit too big, once you start sanding, they will start moving and not keep the tire firmly in place. So those are important. And then let's move on. As I mentioned, you will need to make two washers yourself. These are two different diameters. As you can see, they are not the same size, two different size of tires. One for the 18-inch tire and one for the 19. These are very simple to make, and once again you may notice how small the central hole is, and that is because this is the same diameter once again as the bolt. It's very important, just a little bit larger. However, that's not much of a big problem. However, it's important that it is not a big hole, because once you start making the pressure to sand down, this will start moving freely, and that is something that you don't want. So, what do we need to make these washers? You may use normal styrene, like this one over here, plain styrene. What's important is that it has some certain thickness, so that it will keep the tire in place. If this is too thin, once you start making the pressure, it will warp instead of keeping the tire in place. So just a little bit of thickness like this, which is enough. And you may notice that this is not styrene. What this is, it's actually a simple business card. This is a very basic plastic business card, and I will use this to show you so that if you don't have styrene, you will see that you can use things that you find in your own house. We need some ruler so that we will measure the tire, and also a compass so that we can draw the circle. And the compass, the benefit is that it will give us the perfect center right away. Okay, so and then finally we will need obviously the sandpaper. And regarding sandpaper, I recommend that you don't use harsh sandpapers like this one. For example, you can see how harsh the grain is, because the rubber is very soft, and this type of grain will damage the surface of the tire, and I'm sure that you don't want this. For example, this is a 280 and this is too much. And also next I have the 500, and as you can see it is also a little bit harsh, and I would avoid this type of surface also. This is the perfect candidate that I have found, which is an 800 grid. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. Whatever you can find, just make sure that it isn't very harsh, so that you will not damage the soft surface of the rubber tires. Okay, there we go. You may ask, is it possible to use washers that are available from the hardware store? For example, this is a washer which is almost the same size as the 18-inch. Okay, there you go. This is almost the same size as an 18-inch tire, which makes it perfect to sand down that size of tire. However, as you can see, the center hole is a little bit too large. And what you are risking, as I've said before, if you attach this to the tire, once you are sanding and making pressure, this will start moving up and down and cause unnecessary movement of the tire, hindering the sanding process. I'm sure you don't want that. However, if you manage to find the perfect diameter of washer with a very small hole, the same size, the same diameter as your bolt, it is also a good choice. I will begin by making the template first. These will be the tires that I will be doing the experiment on, and what I need is to measure the diameter of the tire. Let's go. And as we can see, that is 2.2 centimeter. So let's go, and I will open 1.1, because that is the radius. I will go ahead and cut them and get them ready for the sanding. We can see, let's check the diameter, and that is a 2.2 centimeter diameter. Let me go. Alright, so the washers are now done. I will measure the diameter of the bolt which I am using, and it is 2.95. I will use a 3mm drill bit. That will be a good size. Since I used the compass, now I already have the perfect center of the washer, so I will first make a smaller hole just to have my first reference. So with the washers completed, it's now time to take the tire and actually put it inside the setup which we have done and begin the sanding. These are the tires that I shall be using right here. And these are typical tires that are found inside the kits, the original tires that we are given, an original 18-inch set. And in the middle we also have that flash mark, that flash extra piece right there, as you can see, raised from the middle, which we would need to sand down and remove. And this process will take care of everything. Make it give us a rough used look, together with removing that piece of flash mark. Let's put it inside the setup which we have just done. And to do that, so the bolt, we begin by inserting the metal washer, the first one, and then we can insert our own first plastic washer, then the tire, the second plastic washer, the second metal washer, and the first locking nut. Right there. And now it's time to start getting the nut fixed in place, and to do this I will hold the bolt like that and begin tightening the nut. This is quite a soft setup, so I can turn it with my hand right there, or else I can use a spanner or something to help me tighten the nut accordingly. Now this is enough pressure, and how I know that it is enough, because the plastic washers, they started to buckle in with the nut, because obviously the tire is empty in the middle, so the plastic washers will start to buckle in, and as you can see, it started to become a concave. And for me, that is the moment where I need to stop. I insert the second nut to be sure that these are locked, both of them, in place, right there. Once again, I will keep the washer and tighten the second washer a little bit more until they are firmly held in place. Now, next job, insert my setup inside the rotary tool. Tighten everything together, and we are ready to start sanding. Now, as I've said, I will be using the 800, so I will just cut a piece from the 800, a small squarish box like that one. Feel free to wear safety glasses at this moment. Now, regarding speed, this particular rotary tool has a maximum speed of 7. I like to keep it a little bit in the middle, number 3. Right now we are not looking at a huge speed, just to keep it rotating freely without the pressure of the sandpaper blocking it down. Final reminder, the tire is soft, don't make a lot of pressure, just touch it and let the slight pressure do its job. Let's go. Alright, so that was around 1 minute of sanding. If we have to take it into time, as you can see, some particles got stuck to the sandpaper on the bench, on my fingers, and that means that the tire is actually sanding down. And as we can see, okay, over here we have created a rough surface which is more realistic to a tire that has been used on the street, and also the middle part, the flesh part in the middle, has been automatically removed. The tire is firmly held in place thanks to our setup, so no problems about it flying away or anything. And the important thing, as you have noticed, is to make the least pressure possible. Same goes for racing tires. This is the same procedure which I did for the slicks tires of the Toyota Corona. Same sandpaper, just a little bit of sanding right there to create that wear on the surface and hence make it more realistic. We can compare an original, let me bring an original tire which was not sanded down right here. As you can see, it still has the flesh marks, that flesh piece in the middle. On my sanded one it isn't anymore. Over there it has been sanded down in line with the tire, and also this is much more glossier than this one. I don't know if I can capture it perfectly, however it is more realistic than what we started from. You can even sand this a little bit more, maybe give it another minute of sanding to create more wear on the tire. It depends on what type of build you are doing, it depends on you. For me, to create that effect that the tire has been slightly used, this is more than enough. On the slicks, the sanding was more visible. Let's have a look at the Toyota Corona slicks which were sanded down. As you can see right now, look at the comparison between the original and the sanded tire. What a big difference it makes, especially on slicks tires using this same setup. Final piece of advice from me is avoid using any types of files, especially like these, or even worse, these ones right here. Alright, they have a very harsh surface, and since the rubber, once again, I don't know how many times I've said it in this video, the rubber is very soft. These types of surfaces will only damage the rubber. So avoid using these types of files because they are too harsh for the soft material of the rubber. Find a sandpaper that is good for you. 800, this is the perfect combination for me, an 800 grit with the foam backing. However, there are much more good candidates. For example, I'm sure that the Tamiya 600 is also good for this type of job. So find what exactly you work with and always apply just a little bit of pressure. That is all from me. I hope you find this procedure helpful. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to write in the comments below. If you think this will be helpful to you, feel free to leave a like. It will be much more than appreciated. I will see you in my next video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to keep updated with more videos from me. Thank you if you have already subscribed.